I'm Diane Gertson with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service in Fort Bend County. Welcome to this month's Dinner in an Instant. Today we're going to be preparing a pork tenderloin in our electric pressure cooker. So you see here I have the pork tenderloin. I'd let it sit in the package for about 15 minutes and then I removed it and patted it dry. Now, when you purchase pork tenderloin, there's typically going to be 2 in the package, so we're using 1 for this recipe. First thing we want to do is trim a little bit of the fat off of the pork tenderloin. So I've got the big pieces of fat trimmed off. The next thing that we want to do is cut the pork tenderloin in half. The entire pork tenderloin will not fit into our electric pressure cooker, so we simply cut it in half. And then we're going to mix our rub. We're going to add about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of pepper. If you're not a big pepper fan, you can add a little bit less. 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of paprika, a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. We're going to mix our rub up. Get it all blended. And then we take a little bit of olive oil and rub that onto each piece of our pork tenderloin. Then we take our rub and we want to sprinkle it on. And make sure that we rub it in and get the entire pork tenderloin coated. Sometimes if you have the disposable food gloves, it makes for a little bit less mess when you're trying to rub something down. Make sure that we get all the sides coated as well. Pork tenderloin is a very lean cut of pork, so if you're trying to eat lean, it's a great choice. So then we're going to take each of these and put them into our electric pressure cooker, which is set on saute. We're going to let them brown on each side for a couple of minutes. We will let the pork tenderloin brown for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. So I'm flipping it now to the second side. So we have a couple more minutes of letting the tenderloin brown. The rub had 2 teaspoons of pepper. If you are not a big fan of pepper, you can cut down on that and maybe use just a teaspoon of pepper in the rub. I'm also rotating it so that the sides will brown a little bit. You know, pork tenderloin, because it is so small, it really cooks quickly. And in a few minutes, you'll see that the actual cooking time for this pork tenderloin is 3 minutes. Now we have the time that we are building up the pressure, and then we have 15 minutes of natural release pressure as well. So, once the pork tenderloin is browned, take it out and set it on a plate. And I actually have a cup of chicken broth that I'm going to put into the electric pressure cooker. We want to make sure and stir to get all of the bits off of the bottom of the electric pressure cooker. And then we're going to add in half a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, or however you say that, and a teaspoon of liquid smoke. So we mix all of our liquids together. We add our pork tenderloin back into our electric pressure cooker. We put our lid on and seal it. Turn it on. Set it to 3 minutes. Hit start. It's going to come up to pressure. It will cook for 3 minutes, and then we'll let it naturally release for 15 minutes. So what that means is we have the vent closed, and we will leave it closed until 15 minutes after the cooking time. So it's in here building up the pressure, and then it will be cooking in a few minutes. Wow, that was a really quick cook, 3 minutes. Now we let the pressure release naturally for 15 minutes. So I'm going to leave the vent sealed and wait 15 minutes. So I'll see you back in a few. Okay, you can see that the pressure has been releasing for 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is take a spoon. So all the pressure is gone. I'll use my tongs to get our pork tenderloin out. Okay, and then I'm going to take a couple of tablespoons of the juice, mix in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, so I'll mix and make a good slurry. Turn it back on saute. Make sure all the cornstarch is mixed in with the juice, and then I'll add this back. Stir, and in a couple of minutes it will start to thicken. And we will have some gravy to put on our pork tenderloin. Now before you slice it, let it sit for about 5 minutes. This will let the juices reabsorb into the meat so that when you cut into it, the juices don't escape. Once the gravy starts to thicken, I will turn the electric pressure cooker off, and we can spoon a little of the gravy over our pork tenderloin. And again, wait about 5 minutes to slice it. And then you can even add gravy to the individual slices. This is our electric pressure cooker pork tenderloin. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for joining us today for Dinner in an Instant. In the comments, there will be a link to a short survey. I would appreciate it if you could take a minute and answer those questions. Thanks for joining us today.